Hey, how's it going? Got a full hip kind of mobility routine here. Few things that I just wanted to cover. You can do this before a workout, after a workout, or just on an off day in general. One thing that I do recommend is that if there's if you're feeling tight when it comes to doing your squats or certain hip mobility routines, just so you can see and feel the improvement a little more, I recommend that you do the movement and then you move into this hip mobility routine and then come back and retest that movement, see if you've improved in it at all. So I know for myself, when it came to my squats, I used to be really tight. I could not hit the full, parallel type of level. Until I started to do this, I can definitely see a drastic change in terms of how far down I can squat. So it's definitely helped improve my range of motion. I hope that it applies the same for you as well. Again, just kind of test it out. With this routine, you can kind of pick and choose for the most part. There's one move in here that I'll mention that you should definitely keep in this routine. But other than that, it is meant to just get a lot of movement in the hips, kind of help pull it out of its joint and just create that movement, open up, relieve any hip impingements, pains, things like that. But that's pretty much all I got. I hope you enjoy. Again, if you got the time, do the whole routine. I highly recommend it. If you're kind of crunched on time, kind of pick and choose here and there. I tend to do about 5 reps for each movement, each side. Certain ones require that you hold the position for a certain time. So typically I'll hold a position for about 5 seconds, ease out of it, and then again repeat it for about 5 reps. But if you got extra time, feel free to take your time with it, hit some more reps, whatever works for you. Just kind of go through the routine. And yeah, if there's any questions, concerns, things that I don't cover or doesn't make sense in this video, feel free to drop a comment and I'll try and, get back to you and kind of help clear the air with any of that. But hope you enjoy, and let's get into it. Okay, to get started, take the band, pull over top of the leg you wish to start with. Push your knee through and sink the band in towards your hip. Now from here, we're going to start with car mobility, or otherwise known as controlled articular rotations. Basically, you're just going to move your leg around in a clockwise, counterclockwise type of fashion. And again, you can do anywhere from 5 to 10 rotations each side. Just make sure to get some good rotation in that hip. Let it open up. This is the first move that we're doing. We are also warming up the hip flexors at the same time, which will again also help increase our range of motion with our hamstrings, which will help again with a deeper squat or a better deadlift. Now, the next move that you're going to do is you're just going to grab the top of your knee now and start to pull it up towards your chest, kind of compressing it into your body as best you can. Again, the band is providing a distraction, so it's basically pulling our hip out of its socket and kind of creating a nice release, opening up any impingements, things like that. Now, this next move, again, we're pulling our knee towards our body, but as you can see, my hand is underneath my knee and my leg is fully extended, so you should start to feel a slight stretch in the hamstrings as well from this. Again, just kind of pull in, hold tight for about 5 seconds, and then relax, and again, repeat anywhere from 5 to 10 reps. Just depends on how much time you wish to spend with this. So again, we're just going to pull in tight, really try and drive that knee up towards that chest, and then relax. Again, you can throw in a couple more rotations, kind of get some of that stiffness worked out. Now, next move, I'm going to bring my opposite leg up, set the one that's in the band on top of that knee, and then from here, I will take my right hand, place it on my ankle, just to make sure my foot doesn't slide off. I'm going to take my opposite hand and push my knee away as much as I can, holding that pushed position for about 5 seconds before relaxing and then repeating again. So again, I have my leg on top of my opposite knee. I am pushing my knee away from me as hard as I can. Once I'm in that good stretch position, I'm holding it for about 5 seconds before I release, let my knee come back towards me, and then repeat the process again. So again, feel free to do 5 to 10 reps in this range. Just depends on how much time you have and how long you're willing to spend with this. Really push that hip out. That band is going to be pulling, and you should start to feel a nice opening up of the hips from this. Now, from here, I'm going to extend that banded leg out to the side, and this is kind of the open book stretch. So I have my hand pulling down on my leg to get a stretch in my glutes, but I'm also looking the opposite direction, and I have my arm extended out. Once I get a good stretch, I'm going to roll over to the side that the band is on. So if it's my left leg, I roll to the left. If it's my right, I roll to the right. From here, I'm going to do a half frog position and just kind of rock back and forth. Again, just getting some motion in, letting the band pull on my leg to help open up that hip joint. And again, 5 to 10 reps in that range is good. Now from here, I'm going to bring my leg up towards my hands. Again, make sure that band's nice and deep in the hip. And we're just going to rock back and forth. You can even use your elbow to kind of push your knee out to the side to open up that hip a little bit more. Again, we're just trying to create a lot of movement and rotation just to help open up the joint. Now from here, I'm going to move into what's called the world's greatest stretch. Basically, I am going to rotate up, reach towards the sky, and then come down, drive my elbow to the ground, and then extend away for that extra little added spine mobility, thoracic reach, science terms. But anyhow, again, I am rotating up to the sky, feeling a good stretch in the hips, driving my elbow down to the floor, and then extending away for that extra thoracic rotation. And again, you can do 5 to 10 each side. It's up to you. Just make sure you get some good rotation in there, spend your time with it before we move on to the next position, which is going to be the pigeon. So I'm going to lower down onto my leg, getting a good stretch in that glute, and we're going to add in a bit of shoulder mobility as well. So I'm going to extend my opposite arm. So if you see my right leg's down, my left arm is reaching out as far as I can. And as I slide back, I'm applying pressure on that hand and sliding it back as hard as I can. So again, from this angle, you can see the leg that is in the stretch position is the one that has the band around it. And again, I'm using my opposite arm to extend out as far as I can and then apply pressure on the ground as I slide it back. Once you do that, again, 5 to 10 reps, we're going to sit down into the 90-90 position. So I'm going to show you a few different angles just so you can see how my legs are set up. So in the front here, you can see my front leg is in a 90-degree position, so is the back leg. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tall posture and focus on driving my knee into the ground as hard as I can. Now, if you want, you are welcome to do some extra internal rotations here, as you can see I'm doing. Again, nothing too crazy. The main focus here is taking that tall posture, driving your body weight forward, focusing on driving that front knee into the ground as hard as you can. And again, I'm going to drive forward, hold that position for about 5 seconds, and then relax. And again, repeat the process for about 5 to 10 reps each side. And as you're going to see, all these movements are the exact same movements that we'll do on the left leg and the right leg. Now, after I do the forceful 90-90 drive forward, I'm going to do a 90-90, kind of like a hip thrust or extension. Basically, I'm just going to rise up onto that front leg, focusing on squeezing my glutes as hard as I can, getting a good activation in them. As you can see from a different angle, I am sinking down. I'm trying my best not to use my hands to help me lift up, but if this is too hard, you can use your right hand or left hand to kind of help push you up for added support. Now, after that, we're going to shift our way out of the pigeon pose into a upright half kneeling position. You're going to focus on driving your knee. So if you see my right knee, I am focusing on driving it as far forward over my toes as much as possible. I'm getting a good stretch in my hip flexor on that left leg that is down. And again, as I do this, I am focusing on squeezing my glutes as I drive forward as much as I can, hold for 5 seconds, and then relax. As you can see too, I'm adding a backwards kind of stretch at the end just to hit the hamstrings on that right leg. Now after that, I'm going to rotate to my left because that's the side the band is on. So if I'm doing this on my right leg, I will rotate to the right. And from here, we're going to add in some internal rotation for my hip. This is really what's going to open up a lot of that, get rid of a lot of that hip impingement. So if there's any move that you keep in this routine, it's going to be this one. So I'm going to take my hands, place them on the outside of my knee, and drive my knee in as hard as I can, again, holding that position for about 5 seconds before I relax and repeat. Now, with this one, make sure, I know you can't see at the moment, but here we go. So make sure that your foot stays flat on the ground as best as you can. And you're just focusing on pushing that knee inward as hard as you can. You might get a little bit of cramping. You can take your time if you need to. But again, just kind of drive that knee in, hold that position for about 5 seconds, and then relax. And repeat as many times as you see fit. Now make sure that you're out far enough that that band is providing enough tension to pull that hip out of its socket and kind of alleviate and stretch out some of those smaller muscles that are in there as well too. Now, after we've done that, we're going to repeat a lot of the same movements. I'm going to come down, hands in between my legs, just rock back and forth as we did in the other angle. Again, just getting some movement in the hip. Again, you can use your elbow to drive your knee out to the side, allowing that hip to open up a little bit more, really push it out of the way. Again, repeating this for about 5 to 10 reps, just trying to get some good motion in those hips. Now, we're going to move back into the world's greatest stretch. So I pop that back leg up, rotate the same arm that's on the same side as the knee that's up. As I rotate to the sky, I reach, get a good twist, drive that elbow down to the floor, and then extend away for that extra little added rotation in the spine. Again, just repeat 5 to 10 reps each side. Take your time with it. Really feel that opening in the hip. Make sure there's enough tension on the band and it's deep inside the hip. Once you get some good rotation in, now you're going to come into a pigeon pose. So again, I come down into the pigeon pose. And again, I'm going to take my shoulder, the opposite arm, drive it all the way out, reaching as far as I can, trying to tap that shoulder to the ground. And as I come back, I'm applying pressure against the ground so I can get that added stretch in. Again, reaching as far as I can, apply pressure, slide back. Again, you repeat this 5 to 10 reps each side. Take your time with it. Spend as much time as you need with it. Or if you're in a rush, just kind of make sure you get some good ones in at least. Again, we're going to move into the 90-90 position, focusing on tall posture, driving my weight forward into that front knee. I'm driving that knee into the ground as hard as I can, holding that position for about 5 seconds before I relax, and then repeat again for about 5 to 10 reps. Once I feel good, I'll move into the 90-90 hip lift. So again, squeeze the glutes as you thrust forward. Hold at the top for a second, slowly lower down. Again, if you can't do this without support, feel free to use an extra hand to kind of help you lift up. Again, once we've done that, now we're going to get the hip flexor stretch again. But this time, instead of the band pulling from the front of our leg, it should be pulling from behind. So make sure the band is tucked up nice under the butt. And again, you're going to drive your knee forward as far as you can. As you can see, I got that nice extension going on. So you should feel a nice stretch in that hip flexor. But if you want to kick it up a level, as you can see, I raised the arm that is on the same side as the leg that is down. I'm going to lean back into the opposite side. So if you see here, my left arm is up. I will lean back, but lean to the right. And you should feel a really good stretch in that left hip flexor. And again, lean forward, drive your weight forward as much as you can. Make sure to squeeze your glutes. This will help minimize any back pain as well. And we're just driving our weight forward. And you can do a 5-second count as you come forward. And then again, relax and repeat for 5 to 10 reps. Again, you can see on the opposite side now, I have my right arm up. I will lean back and to the left. and drive my weight forward, pushing as much as I can before I relax and repeat a few more times. And again, all the moves that I just showed you will be the exact same, whether you're starting on the right leg or the left leg. The only thing that will change will be the sides that you are looking at. This last little bit is really good way to finish off this whole area if you're about to get ready to start lifting, or if you're short on time, this is a quick little warm-up to do. Now, I'm holding a 25-pound plate. I'm sitting into a deep squat. As you can see now, I'm shifting my weight from left to right, driving my knees over my toes as far as I can, focusing on getting a really good stretch in those ankles. You know, it can be a very limiting area for people when it comes to squatting. So this 25 pounds is allowing me to kind of counter my weight to sit in this deep squat and stretch those ankles out. I'm holding it for about 20 seconds, and I'm holding the stretch for my ankles about 10 seconds each side. Then I'm going to rise up. I'm going to do an RDL to help warm up those hamstrings as well. Feeling a nice stretch back there, making sure my lower back's engaged and warmed up. Next, I'm going to take a kettlebell, and I'm going to come down into a half kneeling position. From here, I will take the kettlebell and hold it with the bottom end up. So in an upright position, as you'll see here in just a sec. I'm going to press the kettlebell up to the sky, and I'm going to lower down into a windmill position. Now as I lower down, I'm sinking my hips back first, and then going as far down to the palm touching flat on the ground. If this feels too easy, you are welcome to focus on, instead of touching the palm to the ground, you can touch your elbow to the ground. And as I sink down to feel the muscles kind of engage more, I'm going to look up at the kettlebell as I do this. And again, 5 to 10 reps each side. This will help warm up the obliques, which will help with your squats or deadlift. It'll help warm up the shoulders, get them more stabilized and ready to go. Even your lats, even your wrists. So this is a really good finisher to the warm-up. Again, sinking my hips back first. As you'll see, hips go back, lower my palm to the floor. Or again, you can use your elbow and go all the way down and touch that to the floor. Again, slowly rising up, making sure each muscle is engaged. I am focusing on it. Again, 5 to 10 reps each side. And by then, you should be set and ready to go. You should be feeling pretty great by this point. So again, hope you enjoyed. Hope this helped. If you have any extra questions, drop a comment, let me know. And happy lifting. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I know that last little bit is definitely a good bit for more of just like a pre-workout area. But again, you can do this before workout or even on an off day just to help maintain that good sense of mobility. Because, you know, through practice and repetition, you will improve. But that last bit, too, can just be, you know, if you're crunched on time, you just need to get a quick little warm-up in. It helps, you know, open up the hips still good, too. Get a better stretch in the ankles, so that way you're not limited and your ankles aren't lifting off the ground when squatting. Again, hits the obliques, hits all part of your arms, shoulders, everything. Just help get you warmed up and ready to go. But again, if you have the time, definitely work on the full hip mobility routine that's in here. I do plan on making a shoulder video one here soon, so keep an eye out for that. But other than that, hope you enjoyed. Hope it goes well for you. Again, if you feel good, that's a good sign. If you can, I recommend testing a lift that you feel tight in. Do the routine and then come back and retest again. That's always a good way to see if you're improving as well. But other than that, if you guys have any other video ideas or at least questions that you want answers to, definitely just drop a comment for me. I'll try and make a video, try and get back to you. But that's pretty much it. I'm gonna head out. I got this one here. She needs some attention and some loving. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and happy lifting.